What is up, everybody? Welcome into this Friday episode of Flippin' Bats. One day before we head to Seattle for the All-Star game. But for now, we got a lot to talk about. Things that make you go, It is a Friday staple, and it's always a lot of fun. We got a great tale of the tape for a great weekend series. This one is going to be an absolute blast. AL Central XFactors. A lot of stuff to talk about. Let's get to it.
Fly ball onto the track, at the wall, it's gone! Home run!
Turns on a ball, deep right field, and gone!
What a game, what a moment.
What is up, my friends? Happy Friday to everybody. Happy Friday to you, Alex.
Oh, thank you. Let's say a bat's distance away. I'm watching you over here just flapping, getting ready to swing the bat at any moment. It's going to be a fun one, but I'm also a little on edge.
This is our last one in studio before we head up to Seattle.
Tomorrow.
Leaving tomorrow, getting up there Saturday. Got a lot going on Sunday. I think Sunday we're in the Space Needle.
This is what you were telling me yesterday.
Yeah.
You said that we're doing Space Needle, Gumwall, Seattle tour. We're going to have a special guest with us that we won't tell you yet. You'll find out on Sunday.
Space Needle Sunday is what the people are calling it.
I think you're just calling it that, Ben.
Space Needle Sunday. Alex, you
that.
got an early wake up. I think we're there at 7. So.
Oh, see, I don't know anything. Thank you, Ben, for being my
You know
my
more than you give yourself.
Yeah.
We got a lot to talk about today.
Yes.
It is Friday. We got a lot of big things happening around the league today.
But I think two big things happening tonight. We got a couple pitching. One debut, because we got Carlos Rodón making his Yankees debut, which has been your kind of big guy for the Yankees. Their big pickup this offseason, finally making his debut.
That's the only thing that the Yankees did that really changed the course of their team.
Yeah.
You know, like they got Aaron Judge, but they had Aaron Judge.
Now they don't because he's injured.
Well, now they don't because he's injured. But when you looked at this Yankees team coming into the year, the thought goes to, okay, what are the Yankees? Every year you come into the year and it's the Yankees are a World Series favorite, right? And it's simply because they're the Yankees. But when you really dove into what this team is, it's okay. They got the best hitter on the planet back because they signed him to a $300 million deal. But what else did they do? How different is this team than the team that got swept by the Houston Astros? It's really not that different. Then you add Carlos Rodón, who is the ace of a rotation that they need. Well, they already have their ace. They have Garrett Cole, but they needed that other arm that could go out there in the playoffs and just dominate for your team. And Carlos Rodón is a guy that can do that. So this team has needed him. They really need him right now. I mean, Aaron Judge being out is just
heartbreaking.
Yeah, I mean, this Yankees team the offense is a tough watch, really, without Aaron Judge. Now they are playing a bit better. They were really bad for a while there, but Carlos Rodón is the big offseason acquisition that was not named Aaron Judge, and this team desperately needs him. It didn't look good at the beginning. You know, he went down with his injury and then started to come back and was feeling pain in his back.
They said it was
chronic back pain, and didn't know how to pitch through it and had to learn mechanically how to deal with it. All of that aside, he now makes his debut. He's looked good in his minor league rehab starts. He threw 3 2/3 scoreless the other day. Carlos Rodón, New York Yankee, number 2 in the rotation guy. He's making his debut tonight, so I will be locked in there.
And then we have another arm. Hopefully this will kind of be his re-season debut, you could say. Alex Manoah. He had a really tough start to the season, got sent down to rookie ball, had kind of a disastrous outing in rookie ball.
Kind of.
I'm trying to be nice here.
2
okay?
2/3, 11 earned runs. That's as much as a disaster as you could possibly have as a pitcher.
Had a bit of a comeback outing after that, and now he's back up to the big leagues. What are you expecting to see from him? You think he's back?
No.
Did it help?
Yeah, the last start was great, but I would have liked to see, honestly, 3 starts minimum for Alek Manoah in the minor leagues.
So this is too soon.
You're telling me the guy was having a terrible year in the big leagues.
Yeah.
really struggling, clearly mentally struggling as well. Physically was only able to pitch to one side of the plate consistently. His off-speed stuff didn't look great. The solution in the eyes of the Toronto Blue Jays is let's send him down. We'll send him back to rookie ball, just start from scratch and hope he builds his confidence up. First start down there, you give up 11 earned runs in 2 2/3, and your confidence goes from down here to non-existent. Like you're not feeling good about yourself. They send you up to Double-A. You have one good start, 10 strikeouts on the mound. He looked good, but I would love to see more of that. I'm hopeful that Alek Manoah has returned to being the Cy Young caliber pitcher that we'd become accustomed to, but do I believe that's him now after just one start? I don't. I hope he comes up, and I really think it's all confidence. I think it's a confidence thing, but he needs to come up. He doesn't need to, but he is. He's now up. He's gonna start, and I hope the one start that he had in the minor leagues that was successful built that confidence.
A great success after the disaster.
Yeah, but look, if I can speak from a batter's perspective, but if I would equate what Alek Manoah went through as like a batter being in an 0 for 20, a 1 for 40 type of slump. So if I'm in that type of slump, it's clearly mental.
Yeah.
Like I am in nowhere capable of performing where I need to because of how messed up I am in my head. I would equate him having a good start to him going 1 for his last 40 and then going 3 for 4 in a game with, having one good game.
Yeah.
Am I completely back mentally? I'm not.
Yeah.
But I know that's the next step I need to take. Now Alek Manoah is going to get to take that next step, but it's going to be in the big leagues where all eyes are back on him. I hope it goes well.
I hope it goes well for both Rodón and Manoah.
Yeah.
So, let's move on to our X Factors. Now, we've been doing this every single week. We are now on to the AL Central. And remember, we're going to go through each team in this division. And these are not necessarily the MVPs or the all-stars of this team, but someone or something that could make or break this team this season.
Yes.
So let's get started with the Twins. Who is your X Factor?
For the Twins, I think their X Factor is Carlos Correa, right? He's the huge signing.
Yep.
With how everything shook out. He was a Met. He was a Giant. No. Well, the Twins were willing to sacrifice his potential, not sacrificing his health, but sort of look the other direction at what might be years down the road with his health based off of his
questionable physical.
Correct.
Yeah.
And say, hey, we want Carlos Correa, the player, right now. Well, Carlos Correa, the player right now that's making a ton of money, has not necessarily been that player. And they need him to be.
Yeah.
But I've said this a lot. With Carlos Correa, it's all about those big moments. And he's gonna have good seasons. And I'm not saying this season has been good for Carlos because I think he's way better than what he's doing. But Carlos Correa is going to step up more than anybody if they're able to get into the playoffs. If it's coming down to crunch time down the end of the season and somebody comes up in a big at bat, Carlos has that clutch gene, and that's a gene you can't teach. So I just need him to get going. Now though, that's it. We got to see him get going, and it looks like he's started to heat up a little bit over the last week or so. But for me, this Twins team that built themselves around Carlos Correa
took the shot, got him to come back, and now he needs to perform.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
He is my X Factor for the Twins.
Moving on to the Guardians. Who is your X Factor?
Josh Bell. Again, another guy that they brought in. Let's just step back for a second with this Guardians team. Where are their issues? Well, they kind of lack that, other than Jose Ramirez, who's great. They kind of lack that thump in the lineup, right? They were built around a lot of on-base, speed, high contact guys. We just had Stephen Kwan on 2 days ago. Talked about him. The guy hit right at 300 last year in his first season. But other than Jose Ramirez, where's that pop coming from? Where's that thump in the lineup? That guy you're scared of. The guy you're scared if you make a mistake, he's hitting it out of the yard. Well, you bring in Josh Bell, who was an all-star last year, had a great first half of the year, not a great second half of the year. And the Cleveland Guardians have gotten second half of the season Josh Bell. Where's first half of last season Josh Bell? That's going to be huge for this team.
Yep.
They can pitch. Tristan McKenzie, Shane Bieber's not Cy Young Shane Bieber right now, but
they have the potential.
He's a good major league pitcher.
Yes, he is.
Where's that thump in the lineup? It needs to come from Josh Bell because it's not going to come from the Steven Kwans of the world. We know he's not going to hit you 20 homers in a year. It's not going to come from the Ahmed Rosarios of the team. He's not going to hit you 20 in a year, 30 in a year. You need Josh Bell to be the all-star player he was. And if he can be that guy, this Guardians team that we saw surprise so many people in the playoffs last year, this Guardians team goes from good young team to really capable, exciting team. But they haven't been doing that so far this year, and Josh Bell hasn't been performing very well this year either.
All right, moving on to your Detroit Tigers. Who is their X Factor?
My man, Torque. Spencer Torkelson, the #1 overall pick. He's hit everywhere he's been. Everywhere Spencer Torkelson goes, he hits. Arizona State.
Yep.
Every level of the minor leagues. He just tears the cover off of the ball. And I would say his big league career to this point, though very early, and he's still very young, I would say has been a bit underwhelming in the eyes of what the fan base was expecting. Now, we've seen glimpses of it.
Yeah.
And there's not many bigger Spencer Torkelson fans out there than I am. Yep. I will believe in him until the end. But it's just, I think, and this is, I think these answers change a bit as we push towards the bottom of the division. You know, up at the top, it's the X Factor is going to be a talent that can really make or break winning or losing.
Yeah.
Are the Tigers going to win the division this year? Are the Tigers going to make the playoffs? No. And Spencer Torkelson won't be able to sway the needle there. But when you invest in somebody as much as they invest in Spencer Torkelson, and I could have gone a Riley Green here. I think those two almost go hand in hand, Spencer Torkelson and Riley Green. You want to see the flashes of greatness. I would love to see Torque build off of the year he had last year and hit around 250, 260 this year with the power numbers creeping up there. And then you look and you're even more excited for that next year instead of thinking, and I'm not thinking this, but did we miss on our first rounder, right? I don't think so, and I think it's way too young to have that conversation, and I think he shows flashes of greatness. I just want to see more of it. I want to see Torque be Torque. And for me, if the Tigers want to succeed in the next 3 to 5 years, it's going to have to be because Spencer Torkelson is an all-star player.
Okay, that's fair. Now, you mentioned things kind of change as you move lower down in the division. So I'm curious, who or what is your X Factor for the White Sox?
This one comes pretty quickly to my mind.
Yeah.
It's the pitching rotation, the starting pitching rotation.
Okay, that's fair.
When the White Sox were good just a few years ago and made the playoffs, they were built around a rotation with Lucas Giolito, Lance Lynn, Dylan Cease, and they had dominant pitching. They have those same pitchers still, and it's just like Lance Lynn is not the same Lance Lynn anymore. No. Lucas Giolito went from having that really good year to having a bad year to coming back up a little. And now there are so many question marks in a rotation that was once what they were built off of.
Yeah.
So there's a few directions you could go in with the White Sox. I think one is clearly starting rotation. 2, I think you could go with like health. I think they've ended up with a lot of health issues. The White Sox X Factor. Health.
Got it.
They end up with so many injuries.
New sponsor.
But I end up going with the rotation just because if the White Sox want to be good, they need to have that rotation led by Cy Young pitcher. That's what they need Dylan Cease to be. Cy Young Dylan Cease. Lucas Giolito. Lance Lynn needs to get back to being Lance Lynn and go from there. But I have concerns.
Okay. Yeah, as you should. I think fans do as well. So let's get to the final X Factor. Central, Kansas City Royals. What is it?
It's whoever the hell they draft in the first round this year.
Okay.
I mean, seriously.
Right. Yeah. And they have the 8th pick
You know, if we had sat, yes, 8th overall pick on Sunday, we'll be up there. Maybe Alex's name will get called. Who knows? In the draft.
Me?
Yeah,
Fair.
maybe.
That'd be funny.
Maybe the Royals will take you.
Put me in, coach. I'm ready.
So there aren't, like, let's step back to last year. I look at last year, and you look at the bad teams in the Royals, the Tigers, the Reds, there were the Pirates. There were a lot of teams you could point to and say, bad, but hope.
Yeah.
The Tigers, like, they have their two, I think Torque and Green at least caused some excitement there. But with the Royals, okay, Bobby Witt Jr., good. Where's the hope? I mean, you have your top prospects, but they're not close. And it's frustrating. And their pitching staff is abysmal. So the Royals' X factor is, how are they going to draft? Who are they going to draft? And can they get it right?
Okay.
And that's pretty simple to me. I can't sit here and say their X factor is Bobby Witt. We know Bobby Witt is good. We know if the Royals are good in 5 years, that it's going to be because Bobby Witt is an all-star player and playing great. It's not going to be because of anything else. Or because of him.
Yeah.
They need more, a lot more. And it starts on Sunday with the Major League Baseball draft and who they take at number 8.
I think it's interesting because this whole AL Central needs more. I feel like this entire division could get a little boost, but here's your X factors. And this is the first time that for 2 teams you haven't done a specific player, but a situation. A whole rotation and a situation. So yeah, there we have it.
I'm excited. Just thinking ahead here. I'm
let's sit
excited for whatever I come up with for the Oakland A's, because I'm not quite sure.
Like, what would you even do? I don't even want to speculate. Like, let this be a surprise.
I have my thoughts.
Can we let it be a surprise?
Oh, it will be a surprise, yes.
Okay. It's going to probably make us go, which leads us to our next segment, things that make you go,
Just a queen of transitions
Thank
over there.
you.
You are.
Let's get started with one of our favorite rookies. Elly De La Cruz homers after a bat check.
This was awesome. And this just makes me like Elly even more. I'm a huge fan. I think the world is right now.
So Elly comes up to the plate, and the umpire checks his bat.
Yeah.
And is questioning its legality.
Because it almost looked like there was like a rubber piece or something
so it's
on the bottom of the bat.
It's basically something you put on the end of your bat knob.
Is that to protect your hand for like Trout?
No, I had one of these as well.
Okay.
You put it on the end of your bat knob, and then you can get all of the data on your phone or on a computer. It's a technology bat track.
Okay.
It can get your swing speed, your launch angle, your bat angle, all of that. It does everything. It's actually great, but you really don't see guys take it up in a game.
Okay.
Elly did it. They made him take it off.
Yeah.
And then from what I heard, Major League Baseball called in and was like, hey, completely legal.
Yeah.
It's good to go. You didn't need to take that off. He goes back up there in the 5th inning with it on his bat.
Yeah.
Hits a 455-foot home run, looks to the opposing dugout, and taps the end of the bat, saying, what, do you want to check again? Or basically, here it is. Look at this. I mean, that stuff, that's star stuff right there.
That's legendary. That's like calling your home run before you hit the home run.
You heard it here first. Elly is Babe Ruth.
I love it. All right, our next things that make you go, we are staying with Elly De La Cruz. This is more of a things that make you go, for us, but for him. Elly De La Cruz declined his invitation to the Home Run Derby because he wants to focus on this season.
Yeah, look, the Home Run Derby is a very
consuming?
No, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not controversial. It's a
Well, we've heard a lot of guys, it takes them off their swing for like weeks or months after they participate.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of a stigma with it.
Basically,
you can hurt your swing.
Without being able to think of the word right now, because I'm a non-intellectual and it took me 8 years to graduate college.
Did it really?
But only because I got drafted after my junior
get to
year.
that
So
later.
give me some slack. It's a polarizing topic amongst players. We'll go with that.
Okay.
Because what happens for these players, you either are for or against doing it in season, right?
Yeah.
You grow up hearing, well, it's going to mess up your swing. Well, does it? And it can. It kind of depends on your swing, right? Like if Luis Arraez went in the home run derby, it would completely change his swing.
Yeah.
But even more than that, it's mental. If you feel uncomfortable or like it might get you out of your comfort zone with your swing, don't do it.
Yeah.
And if you feel comfortable doing it, then it's obviously completely fine. But there's just like all these examples of players. Bobby Abreu, I was at the home run. Bobby Abreu had one of the craziest performances in home run derby history. And he was having a fantastic first half of the season. And after his historic performance in the derby, he was terrible.
Well, yeah,
in the
think
second
about
half.
it. Like when you're taking batting practice, you're at the plate. You're not swinging for the fences every single at bat. You're trying to put the ball in play, hit it down the line, hit it down the center, hit it down third base. Like then you try to hit some out of the ballpark. Every single swing is all of your energy to try to hit this ball out of the ballpark. Of course, it's going to mess you up in some situation.
Different, but they're all like, again, I will say, I get it, but they're professional. Just because you swing one way that time doesn't mean that's your new swing. Like you could get right back in the cage and start hitting your same swing you've done your whole life and you'll be fine. Regardless, I wish Ellie was involved. I said the other day, I think Ellie De La Cruz needs to be at the All-Star game one way or the other. Obviously, he hadn't played enough games to be an All-Star. But I would have loved to see him in the home run derby. Major League Baseball got it. They understood that. And they extended the invite. And very fairly, Ellie said, I just got up here. I'm going to focus on myself, my swing. Completely fine. Completely understandable.
Yeah.
It makes me go,
Yeah, it's unfortunate because he is one of the he's only been in the big leagues now for what? Is it a month? Yeah, maybe. But he's one of the most electric and captivating players since he's been up here. He's completely turned the Reds around. So in that sense, of course, you want a star at the All-Star game and the Home Run Derby participating, but you have to respect this. He's only been here about a month, and for him, if this is how he feels, it's a smart move, and I respect it.
Bobby Abreu hit 6 home runs the entire second half after that insane home
And how
run
many did he have
hit.
the first half? Like 18?
He had 18 in
18
the first
going
half,
in, and
6
then
in the second half.
Yeah. So I mean, there are like legitimate. There's like facts. Here you go. Facts. Research. Right?
Yeah.
Is that the right word?
Alex,
Yeah.
I'm gonna need you to be the one that comes up with
Are we
the
both?
words.
Are we both
I
having?
can't be
We're
the
both
one.
having trouble with words today. That's okay. Words are hard, but we're gonna
throw
keep talking
ball,
through
hit
it.
ball, run. You help me. Help me.
Okay. Well, let's talk about some beer. Let's move on to our next things that make you go.
We can do that too.
All right. David Bednar sent Clayton Kershaw beer. Explain why.
Monday's episode, we talked all about the All-Star game, who's involved, who isn't, who are the big snubs. Well, this thing that makes you go, involves multiple of those. Clayton Kershaw, named to the All-Star game, also ended up hitting the IL like I was worried about.
Yeah, you predicted that.
So he is not going to be pitching in the All-Star game. One of the big snubs I was referencing, David Bednar. He ends up getting in as the replacement for Clayton Kershaw. Now, the best part of this story is the two teams were facing each other, right? The Pirates were facing the Dodgers when this happened. So what did David Bednar do? He sent a case of beer over to Clayton Kershaw's locker. It was Iron City Light, a Pittsburgh beer, and he wrote him a letter basically saying, thank you, here's some beer. Just a great story.
Yeah.
I love this. Kershaw deserved to get in, did get in, went on the IL, so he's not going to pitch. They find a replacement. It's the biggest snub of all the relief pitchers for sure. He gets in, sends him beer, and he says afterwards, this is beyond all of my wildest dreams. I'm so blessed to have this opportunity. and that's David Bednar, being only the 6th reliever in Pirates history to be named to multiple All-Star games, which
That's
is really
awesome.
cool.
And I love a moment like that. That was cute. Timing was perfect.
I don't know why. Hearing you say that made me see. You said, I love a moment like that. It made me want to sing, in a moment like this.
Some people wait. We're not going to do it. Okay. Let's move on to our next things that make you go,
My singing?
Yeah, well, that's like,
I was in select. No.
What?
I was in select choir back in my day.
You know,
and
I was
have
also in
sworn
choir.
by this. I could have at least gotten a golden ticket on American Idol back when it was like.
Okay,
you know.
this is going to be a challenge for another episode. We are going to pick a song, and you are going to sing
I have
it
my
here
song.
on Flippin' Bats. Okay.
I have my song.
All right.
You Raise Me Up, Josh Groban. It hits
Okay,
all
well,
the
we
vocals,
gotta get
the
it
highs and the
cleared
lows.
and see what song we can have you sing and change some words so we can actually play it on the episode. But this is happening.
Good point.
You heard it here first. Ben is going to sing us an American Idol audition on Flippin' Bats, and we will be the judge if he gets the golden ticket. We'll have maybe Buck out here, Rago, me, a couple other people decide if you're good enough to move on. Oh, I love this so much. Okay.
It will be an honor and a privilege to perform in front of
For
you
you
all.
guys. All right, next things that make you go, We've touched on this yesterday a bit, but Dusty Baker's handling of Yanier Diaz's situation.
I don't understand what Dusty's doing. Like, he was on my team of the month.
Yep.
The entire month of June. He was the best catcher in the game of baseball. And now, fast forward to this month. You don't really have to fast forward very long.
Yeah.
Yanier Diaz is tearing the cover off the ball. He hit 2 homers in a game earlier this week. And the handling. Look, Dusty Baker, World Series champion manager, in case you haven't heard. I'm not. I just talk about baseball, and I'm confused of the handling of Diaz
And
here.
so were the fans. That was a fan question that we got yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Also asking.
Every time I tweet a homer of his, the questions become like, well,
Why isn't he playing?
you like him more than Dusty Baker does. And Martín Maldonado's the answer here, and we did talk about this yesterday. Pitchers love throwing to him. He's great behind the plate. He's great throwing out runners. He's a better defensive catcher. He's a better caller of a game. But when you have a guy producing offensively like this, just play him more. I'm not saying put him behind the plate every game, but don't let him sit the bench. DH him every day until or if or when he cools off. You know, like I haven't understood the handling of him since the beginning of June. I've needed him to play more.
There's got to be something we don't know, though, because pitchers love certain catchers to throw to. They call the game. They feel comfortable with them. So it has to be, you have to imagine it has to be something like that.
Maybe he
right?
stole Dusty Baker's sandwich, a pre-made sandwich, and he went in and took it.
What?
He pissed him off somehow.
No.
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 His toothpick.
No.
He took his toothpick.
No. All right, let's move on to our final things that make you go, Fulmer getting an at-bat for the Cubs.
Michael Fulmer, good friend of mine, friend of the pod, played together in the Tigers organization, having a fantastic year for the Cubbies, by the way. But what he is not very good at is hitting. He got his first at bat. I can't remember the last pitcher to hit not named Shohei Ohtani. Maybe it's happened this year, but I don't think so. Michael Fulmer comes in. They lose the Cubs lose the DH spot. He took over for Drew Smyly and entered the lineup when the Cubs lost their DH by having Christopher Morel take over for Nick Madrigal at third. So Fulmer had to hit. It didn't go well. Struck out. He did make contact, hit a foul ball, had to run down the line, ended up punching out on some heat up in the zone. Yeah, just overmatched. But he's having a great year on the mound, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
But Fulmer, come on, man.
Oh.
Come on, man. I needed a more competitive at bat. That's all I'll say.
You got to clip that and send it to him.
Oh, okay. He's gonna hear it.
No, don't give him a hard time.
He's gonna hear about this.
He's doing his best. But yeah, definitely clip that and send it to him, and I want to hear his reaction
Doing
to
his
you.
best. What are we giving him, a participation trophy for striking out?
It's not his everyday situation.
Nor will it ever be.
And no, it won't. It's not his focus.
He goes up and hits a homer. Next thing you know, the Cubs are thinking,
hey,
okay,
maybe
we'll do that
we
again.
got an emergency DH here.
Now he's ruined it for every pitcher on the roster. They'll never get an at bat.
Stop. Don't put that much kind of pressure
He's throwing
on him.
so great. I love Fulmer. He's throwing so great this year.
Start with that. When you clip it off, start with that clip and then send him the other. I'm disappointed
I'm
in
going to
you.
start with, what a brutal at bat, buddy.
All right, let's move on to tail of the tape because we have the two best teams in baseball going head-to-head this weekend. Braves against the Rays. Ben and I are going to go through and pick which offense, defense, manager, starters, and bullpen we believe is going to do better this weekend. But this is a tough because almost all of these, they are neck and neck throughout this. So I'm curious to see
Me too.
how we did here.
I like Tell the Tape. I'm excited it's back. Last week we did the top 3 series to watch over the weekend. We're back to Tell the Tape. And
I think I'm leading, right?
I think you're up by 1.
I'm up by 1.
Or did we tie it in San Diego and haven't done it since?
Nah, we'll have to check. I think I'm up. I remember being winning. I remember being winning.
You remember?
Okay, let's start with offense. Who you got?
Braves. The Braves offense is the best offense in baseball.
Yep.
I don't know. There might be numbers saying another team is still ahead. Don't believe them. The Braves offense is the best in baseball. Michael Harris is hitting legitimately 450 for like a month now.
Yeah.
And he bats 9th in the lineup. They're unbelievable. I watch them in disbelief. There's not a soft spot in the lineup. There's not a single spot you can let up. And you think it might come where it comes for every team at 7, 8, 9 in the lineup. But they have Michael Harris, who was unbelievable, and Orlando Arcia, who was an all-star and the starting shortstop for the National League in the all-star game. The Braves lineup is unbeatable right now, especially right now. So I went Braves.
I also went Braves. You said I don't believe the numbers if they're not in first. Well, the numbers have them in first or second in almost every single offensive category. I'll go through them. They are second in runs per game, but they are first in home runs, extra base hits, average, slugging, OPS, OBP. So, yeah, if there was a team that you were going to pick over them, it could be Tampa because they're kind of like neck and neck in second and third in most of those categories. But Braves are first in majority of these offensive statistics. All right, we agree. Let's move on to defense. Who you got?
I have the Rays. I think they're really good defensively. Wander Franco at shortstop. Jose Siri out in center field. Really fast, good arm out there. Just kind of all over the field. You look around and they're good defensively. I think Randy's probably an average defender out in the outfield, but everywhere else, I just feel like you look around and they just play great, clean defense. They're a clean defensive baseball team. They do everything well. I went with the Rays. Do you have numbers behind? Who'd you go with?
I do have numbers, and I also went with the Rays.
Oh, great. I feel even better about it.
Yeah, okay. Cool. I think their defense has also been a big reason that they have been able to be the best team in Major League Baseball throughout the entire season up until this point. I mean, we're literally looking at 1 and 2 neck and neck. Braves have gone on a crazy stretch. So as you had them in power rankings, they bumped up 1 this week right over Tampa Bay. But yeah, when you're comparing the numbers between these two teams, the Rays have the 4th best fielding percentage in baseball compared to 26th, which is the Braves. And then they have the 4th fewest. Rays have the 4th fewest errors committed, and Braves have 24th fewest. So if you're going to like comparable numbers, it's definitely the Rays have the better defense.
We're gonna get you on the advanced analytics defense trend.
Cool.
Soon.
I know you hate my stats. Okay, let's move on to manager. Which manager are you taking?
I think this is gonna surprise you. I went with the Rays. What are you looking at?
You have given me such a hard time all season for picking Kevin Cash as my manager whenever we're doing Tampa Bay in this tail of the tape. What?
I've been saying all year long.
Okay.
That
coming over to the dark side.
I don't think Kevin Cash is a bad manager. I just think he's I think he's the guy just plugging the pieces together and letting the machine that is the Tampa Bay Rays organization go. I really, really respected the decision he made with Wander Franco a couple weeks ago when he benched him for basically just being immature. We never found out. We never heard the real answer.
Which is smart. That
Which
means
is good.
which means they keep it tight. It's an internal
Right.
thing.
Ollie
but
Marmol with the Cardinals can learn a thing or two.
yeah.
Exactly. He was asked why he's not playing, and he just said, basically, he was acting immature, and
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it at that. Nobody heard anything of it. He comes back 2 days later. He sat out 2 games, and he hit a homer his first game back. Both of these managers are very good. And, you know, to be quite honest with you, before we do a tale of tape, if you're watching, there's a beautiful graphic up on the wall, right? The whole thing looks great. It's in the wall. It's back behind us. There's our faces on the wall. There's each side. So we have to text our picks into the producers like the night before.
And we don't see each other's picks.
Yeah. I had Brian Snitker typed out at least 3 times. I had Kevin Cash typed out 2 times and
so
deleted.
you went back and forth.
And then the third time is the one I hit send.
All right.
And I think they're both good managers. I just, you know.
I mean, when you have 2 managers that are obviously managing the 2 best teams in baseball right now, but I've said this all season, every single time that we've done Tale of the Tape and we have Tampa Bay in here, and I have taken Kevin Cash every single time that we have done this. The way that he has, and you said maybe he just plugs the pieces in and lets the machine do its work. That is also a great manager. Knowing your role, knowing how much these players need, knowing just a little help, maybe a little assistant, maybe taking a step back, whatever it is, it's finding that balance. And he has found that, and they have been at the top of Major League Baseball the entire season. So we both have Kevin Cash.
I don't.
Yep.
Just because he. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
You know, like
Here we go again.
giving
Now you're going against me. Now because I picked him again.
Am I going
now
Brian
you're going
Snitker
against
here?
me.
No,
you're
the
not.
only thing about like the guy that just plugs the pieces in and it lets it go and saying the managers.
But he doesn't. You just said the situation that he took care of, kept it under wraps, and then everything was fine. It's handling personalities. These are millionaire.
I get it, but like the guy that walks into the factory in the morning and pushes the button to turn it all on and make it work.
That's not what he is. He is way more. I was just saying in response to your.
I know I'm arguing against myself.
You are arguing against yourself right now. Okay, gosh, let's piggyback on that. Okay, let's move on to starters. Who you got?
Starting pitching, Atlanta Braves. Spencer Strider, Max Fried coming back. I think Max Fried is like. Do you have the?
I do. I have the matchups.
Yeah. Can you hit
let's
me?
go through. Okay, so Friday, Charlie Morton, Tyler Glasnow. Who you taking?
That's a good matchup.
I know.
That's a good matchup.
Who you taking? You have Morton, who's 8-3 with 3.57 ERA. Glasnow's 2-2 with 4.5 ERA.
I don't know. This is Tyler Glasnow's spring training. I'll take Charlie Morton.
Same. Okay. So Saturday, Spencer Strider versus Bradley. Who you taking?
Yeah, Taj Bradley. Spencer
Taj
Strider.
Bradley.
I'm taking Spencer Strider.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Sunday, you have Bryce Elder versus Zach Eflin.
Bryce Elder, All-Star.
Yeah. So
yeah,
Braves.
I went with the Atlanta Braves here. I think
Yeah.
the Braves rotation is very, very good. And they're not even going to have Max Fried in this weekend series. Max Fried is a Cy Young caliber pitcher when healthy. I just think top to bottom, I get caught up when I answer these. I think whole rotation. I don't even look at the matchups, which I probably should do. But in terms of the whole team,
that's what you got me for.
The Braves rotation is the answer for me. I went Braves.
I did too, because I went through the matchups, and I also believe that the Braves are going to take the starters are going to do better on the Braves side of things.
Right.
Okay, finally wrapping things up with the bullpen. Who you taking?
I went with the Atlanta Braves here as well. The Braves have the 3rd best bullpen ERA.
We agreed on every single one this week.
3rd best bullpen ERA in baseball.
Damn
I know
it.
that.
Okay.
They're nasty back there. I
They
love
are.
the Braves bullpen. Raisel Iglesias lights out. Alex went Braves too.
I did go Braves too.
So we went identical.
We did. So, okay.
Do you want to take the Rays here? Because I'll take the Braves. You don't have to.
You know what? You've done that before. You let me take who I picked more of, and you took the other team because we got to make this fair. So yeah, you know what? Oh man, I think the Braves are going to take the series.
No, make your pick. The Rays are at home. That's a good thing for you.
That is a good thing. I think the Braves are going to win, but I'll take Tampa.
No. I don't want you to do that.
I'll take it for the betting purpose of things. It's fine. You've taken one for the team before. I'll take one for the team.
I want you to believe.
I can believe.
I want you to believe.
I can believe.
I want you to believe the Rays.
I can believe. I think the Braves pitching is going to do so much better, and that's going to be the tough thing. And the Braves are on an insane run right now.
I want, in case you guys haven't heard, we're wagering our pinky.
No, we're
for
not.
This
Hey,
season.
we haven't picked
and
what we're wagering
when I'm
yet.
chopping your pinky off at the end of the year, I don't want it to look back and say, well, she wanted the Braves that one series, but went for the Rays.
Okay, then I'll do Braves.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
we both
took Braves, so this will be a wash of a week then for the betting purposes of things.
You just switched.
Wash of a week. What?
All right, that was tail of the tape, right? That's
Yeah.
it. Or is that
And
it?
that's it.
Is that it?
Yeah.
We're going to Seattle.
We're going to Seattle tomorrow.
Wow. We thrive
It's gonna be wild.
on the road.
We do so well on the road.
Flippin' Bats thrives. That's a tongue. Flippin' Bats flies.
Flippin' Bats.
Flippin' Bats thrives on the
Bats
road.
thrives.
Flippin' Bats thrives on Thread. Follow us on Thread for the whole journey. In case you haven't heard of Threads, man, we're all over it these days.
You're off the rails.
New social media app. It's great. Make sure you're subscribed everywhere you listen to your podcast. Apple, Spotify, wherever. We're there. Rate it 5 stars if you're listening right now. Rate it 5 stars. That helps. It's free to do that. We're also on all social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and YouTube at Flippin' Bats Pod for all of them. Thank you all for listening. Alex and I are packing up, and we're heading to Seattle. We will see you all from Seattle for a bunch of great All-Star Game festivities and everything surrounding it. Until that, my friends, Saturday with Smoltz. Tomorrow, we talked all about the Angels and their current situation with Shohei Ohtani and everything going on there. He had some great insight. So until tomorrow, my friends, this has been another episode of Flippin' Bats. Peace.